Listen, and repeat.
The Evil Witch. Once upon a time, there was an old castle in the depths of the thick forest, and there lived an old witch, who could transform into any shape she wanted, and she loved to fly as an owl, or to run around the city as a cat. But at night she would be back to her true form again, and she said, "How I wish I could get rid of wrinkles and white hair," but this did not happen, and an angry old witch remained in her castle. If any young woman approached the castle, she would turn into a bird, and the witch locked her in the cage, and she had hundreds of cages in her castle, and they were full of beautiful birds. One day they were walking in the forest, and the girl said that the forest was beautiful, and the shepherd replied to her and said, "Yes, dear, but we must be careful not to approach this castle." But the girl went deeper into the forest until the boy got angry, and reached the top of the hill, and the atmosphere was wonderful, and the sun's rays at sunset were penetrating the tops of tall trees, falling on the green ground, and birds were chirping from the branches. The girl sat down to rest, and the boy sat next to her, and they were feeling sad. The girl said, "I'm not happy." The boy said, "I feel like I'm going to lose you." So she said, "Let's go home." So they searched together for the way back, but they were lost and did not know the way. The boy said, "What is this? We got lost." The sun set quickly, and the boy looked behind him, suddenly found himself approaching the walls of the witch's castle. He felt terrified and looked at the girl, and saw her turn into a bird, and an owl flew over him with scary eyes, and screaming, but he could not move and speak. After sunset, the scary night came, and then the owl disappeared inside a bush, and then the old witch came out with her scary eyes and said, "Wow, it's another bird for my group." I said some words, grabbed the bird and left while he was with her in the cage, and the poor boy watched what happened. A little later, the witch returned and sang in a voice like a horse's voice, and suddenly, the boy found himself free, fell to the ground in front of the witch, and begged her to give him back his forehead. And the witch laughed an evil laugh, and said, "Never, you will never see her." And he said to her, "I can't live without her. Please free her." But she was not affected by the boy's words. She mocked him and returned to the castle again. He was crying out of sadness, but it was too late, and since he could not return home, he went to a strange village, worked there in caring for sheep, and he was always running around the witch's castle without approaching her, but to no avail. So that he could find out anything about the girl, and in a dream night he found a beautiful rose, and in the middle of it was a very beautiful pearl. Just picked it up, took it in his hands, and went to the castle, and the rose was breaking all restrictions. And then he found the girl, and the witch was afraid of the pearl to no avail. But on the 9th day he found her, and then picked the rose. He took it and traveled for long days, until he reached the castle and approached it. But he did not petrify this time, and found himself at the door of the castle, and was very happy with this result. He touched the door and it opened. He was in the garden of the castle, and heard the sound of birds singing. He continued to advance. Finally, he saw hundreds of birds singing from inside the cages, and when the witch saw him, she got very angry. The witch ran towards him, but she could not approach him, because the rose was protecting him, and he looked at the birds in confusion. There were too many of them. While he was thinking what to do, he saw the witch taking the sweetest cages, and trying to escape from the door quietly. He ran behind her, and touched the cage with the rose, then found the girl. Then he touched all the cages with the rose. The girls returned to normal. Then he threw the pearl on the witch, suddenly turned into a bird, So he quickly grabbed her and locked her in a cage. They returned home together, and they got married and lived happily and safely.
I hope you like the story and that you have benefited from it. Please do not forget to share it with your friends so that everyone benefits. Goodbye.